Default camera, what's that mean? All right. Let's do this.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What's going on, everybody? All right, and Kyle back. We're just dropping in for a random show where we're going to run down AEW's WrestleDream predictions and then play a little catch-up. It's been a while since we've done one of these. The set is in disarray. RN, your stuff looks better for once. It's almost like your camera quality is outdoing mine.
It doesn't look like it on my end, but if you say so, I'll take your word for it.
No, I don't know how this happens, but somehow in my bag, my camera just turns itself on somehow, like automatically. And so when I went to break out my camera, the battery was dead. So I'm using my Insta360, and that's why it's all like pixelated and stuff. Because
love you too, Allison.
Hey, Allison's in here. What's going on, Allison? Long time no see. Boy, we keep having long gaps between our shows, RN.
Yeah, we'll get it together.
We'll get it together one of these days. It's all good. We both have stuff that's been picking up in our personal lives. My photography's finally catching some traction. I've reached a point in my photography, RM, in success where I have sabotage taking place. I have been sabotaged in one of my gigs, and it's a really big bummer because it was like a well-paying gig. But yeah, my work was outshining the dedicated photographer of the venue, and he put the band hammer on me and like all the other photographers from coming back.
Well, we should know you're doing it right then.
Yeah, it was a kickboxing and MMA event. If you go to my Instagram at the Kai Tai Show, you'll see a ton of pictures from it. And they let me come in with a press pass. I said, I'd love to take photos, no charge. I'll go ahead and use your any pictures to help promote your company, and you can have them if you want. I just want the experience and some practice. And then the feedback on the second event I went to was I don't want to speak ill of their photographer, but a lot of people were comparing our work, and there was a handful of people that said they preferred my work over the venue's official photographer. And a couple weeks later, after all that positive feedback, he reached out personally and said he gave some bullshit like it's for safety of the fighters and all of this and that, but he essentially just came out and said that there's no loyalty in the photography biz, and they didn't want me back or any other photographers, which it bummed me out, man.
I told you what you should do. Stop being a bitch and just pull up guerrilla style. Well, all they can do is ask you to leave.
No, I'm still going. So it's the next event's in December. I'm buying a ticket, 1 or 2 tickets for some friends, and I'm still going to show up because, like, the event, for one, the guy telling me to not come back is not the promoter themselves.
Right.
It's the photographer hired by the promotion. So he's more or less speaking on their behalf. Very well could be just like the promoter has no problem with it, but he's just trying to scare me off,
Did you talk to the promoter?
Reached out to him, but he's always been like notoriously difficult. The last I had to send him 3 or 4 messages for the first event, and eventually he just replied. He was like, "Hey, just show up and tell him that I said that you should have a press pass." And that was the extent of our conversation.
So that's what you should do this time.
Yeah. And I know. You know, the thing is, it's a
You need me
3-hour
and Adam
drive.
down. You need me and Adam down there with you, bro. Because you'd be surprised how much shit we've done that's not authorized that we shouldn't have been able to do, and we just fucking did it.
You just show up and do it.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a lot like you until I met Adam, and we was like, man, just go. Just
Yeah.
go.
No, that's my intention. I'm still gonna show up. What I'll do is I'll have a ticket purchased
Yeah,
because the shows don't sell out, right?
Right. Buy a ticket, but then still pull up and say like, hey, I'm supposed to get a press pass.
Yeah. Well, I still have my press pass. I noticed between the two events they didn't change. So
I would go do it just like nothing ever was changed.
Yep.
Like, well, you told me that, but I reached out to the promoter. He never got back to me, so I just assumed it was still okay.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody at the promotion to officially call.
It's better to ask forgiveness and permission always.
Yeah, so it'd be all right. But I take it as a compliment, RN. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Because if my shit was if it was shitty, you wouldn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So
Me and Adam found out a long time ago, and it took us a while to go crazy. Haters spread the news faster than fans. And that's just the God's honest truth. Haters and people that dislike you spread your shit and talk about your shit more than your supporters do. And they're so stupid they don't understand by doing that, they make more fans for you. It's organic.
yeah,
It's like, think about anything that grows. They use manure and shit to grow all the good things that we need in life to eat. And so while they're talking shit on you, they're just sprouting new fans and new supporters of you. And it took us a very long time to understand that. If you don't have haters, then like you said, your shit is ass. People only hate on you if your shit's good.
if you're doing good. Yeah, no, man, and that's been my mentality. So it was bittersweet when it happened, but I was like, hey, that's a sign of the progression of you know this area. Yeah, man, it's a sign of progress on my end, you know, and I'm really happy for it.
And the thing of like, and I looked at some of that guy's pictures too, and some other. The thing with yours is you can tell you're a wrestling fan because you got more action shots and not more like artsy looking fucking shots. Like you got shit that looked cool if it was like a wrestler like WWE did. That's what I liked about your shots.
The drama. There was drama, man. Yeah. I got action shots in there too, you know. But no, I try to capture like drama in stuff because otherwise it's just like here's a guy throwing a punch. Although some of the images,
story.
Yeah, exactly. Here, I'll show you an example of one of my better action shots though. This was a one of my favorites. However, the dude getting smashed is actually like the first friend I made out of the fighters. So it was bittersweet capturing this picture, and I told the guy that I was like, "Look, man, I'm really proud of one of these photos I got. It's like one of the best ones I've gotten to date. However, it's of you, and you got absolutely rocked in this photo. Yeah, dude." But luckily, his name, by the way, is Lost and Fallon. He's an awesome guy. He fights in the heavyweight division. He lost like 120 pounds. He was a really big boy, and he lost a ton of weight.
Like the Roundtree kid.
Yeah. Let's see, Avery Jones. Here it is. Okay, and then boom. Let me get this photo pulled up, and then I'll pull it on screen right here. There we go. There it is. And then boom. Let's go ahead and set this up. Yeah, check out this. This is one of my favorites. Hey, what's up? Look at this dude getting smashed.
Oh, fuck you, Kyle. I thought you were my friend.
Dude, just getting rocked, man. Oh gosh. Oh man, look at that. Like you get all the sweat and everything. That's what you dream of right there. A little bit of blood. Oh, ew. Yeah, man. Allison says watermark my shit. My stuff's watermarked. Yeah. I told the guy, I did a little bit of pleading with him. I was like, look, man, let's find a way to work together, you know. He's like, well, I already, I'd have to put my watermark on your pictures. I was like, no, you can just do,
No, you won't.
you can just do a collaboration. You know what I mean? I don't mind you putting your watermark on my photos. That you can just say it's like in collaboration of both of the photographers.
Right.
I'll give you partial credit. It'll signify I'm working under your umbrella. I'm learning from you. If people like my stuff, they will get funneled to you. And
Why did you? Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, listen. Don't be a pussy, Kyle. You're a 6'3" monster. I'm not even saying that to be like a dick or like to be funny. Like, if you just roll in there like you're supposed to be there doing what you're supposed to do, besides the fighters and even some of the fighters, who the fuck is going to say something to your big ass?
yeah, they don't have security.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, neither event had security. Like, fights broke out, and like the announcer was like,
Yeah.
"This is stupid. We don't have security to break this up." Like, you had to rely on the fight camps. Thank God the fighter camps were level-headed enough to break up the fight, because it could have escalated on the second event to a full-blown brawl
I don't
between
think
two
people
sides.
Understand, because you're sitting down and you just look like a short, fat chud. But like, you are not. You are a.
Yeah,
big
you got to see me in
fucking
person.
dude.
I'm a big boy.
I was impressed about how big you are and how good you moved on a fucking skateboard to be a fucking 250-pound, 6'3" fucking giant skinhead monster. Like,
Yeah.
like people don't understand. Like, if somebody like you just rolls up like you're supposed to be there, no one is going to say anything to you. And like, I'm not small. You made me look small.
I did kind of dwarf you a little
I'm
bit.
sure you thought I was shorter than what I really was too. Same thing with you. And I'm like, I'm not a small guy, and you made me look small.
Nah, you were bigger than I anticipated when I met you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You thought I was like smaller. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, nobody's gonna fucking.
I thought you were like a chubby Stokely Hathaway. That's what I was expecting.
Yes, exactly. I thought you were a white chubby Stokely Hathaway. And honestly, that's what Adam used to use. He used to just use me. Like, he'd start taking pictures. He'd put me in a black T-shirt, have me just like walking with him and shit. And like, everybody just automatically assumed he was supposed to be there, and I was like his security or security for the event or something, walking around with the photographer.
Yeah.
And that's literally how we got 90% of our jobs, with people just thinking we're supposed to be there. Like, oh, who are you with? We give him one of our cards and he get jobs and shit. And like, even at the dog shows we went to, like, he would just jump out and take pictures. Somehow him and my girl's fucking retarded brother, I made him a Route 4 shirt, but it was like those neon green, like Dickie work shirts.
Yeah.
So people just assumed he was with the crew for the show. So they put him at the fucking like entrance of the dog ring and had Adam taking pictures, just thinking they were both with the people, and they weren't.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm going for it, man. I mean, because truth be told, and I doubt they're going to watch this stream, but it was my highest paying gig to date. Because what I did was I went there and I reached out to the fighters, and I was like, hey, man, look, I was a photographer. I got some pictures. If you want to buy them, buy them. And out of 66 fighters, I had over a 20% close rate. One out of every 3 people I reached out to bought.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, man, no, I felt good. Those, like when it comes, because you're a salesperson, it's a 20% close rate. Dude, that's astronomical, man.
I don't think people realize that in sales. Like, literally, really a 10% close rate in sales
is huge. At my job alone, they want us to have a 6% close rate, just to show you like my other job. This is I'll share one more photo. This is one of my other favorite ones. This is like cinema. I was so tickled when I realized I captured this shit right here. That was boom. So dude on the
what I'm talking about. It looks like it looks like a movie poster or something, or like a scene, a clip from a movie or something. Like,
yeah, man.
That's the one. That's the exact one I had in my head when I was talking about your pictures. That's it.
Yeah, dude on the left is Icy Mike. Apparently he's like a YouTuber, like sensei. He was doing commentary that night, but one of his fighters was in a title fight, so he pulled himself off of commentary to corner this man, who ended up winning the fight too as well. Yeah, dude absolutely killed it. And when I sent him this photo, Icy Mike said he was inspired. It instigated this long, really introspective Instagram post that he got like thousands of likes and responses, and that one photo garnished him the highest interacted with post of his by like 3 times.
Damn.
Yeah, because I looked over his previous post, and it just like it blew out of his other posts, like out the water and shit.
I was literally gonna say show the picture with the bald dudes. I couldn't remember. That's the exact picture I meant. It was literally like a thumbnail for like a movie.
Hell yeah,
or whatever. Like it's fucking fire.
We got some framing right. Oh, I guess I didn't include it in this one. Oh, there it is. There it is. This motherfucker right here too. Love that shit.
Yeah.
He's shadow boxing with him, telling him how to do the shit. Yeah. Oh man, no, it was a good time. But like I said, got shadow banned because my shit's too good, RN. I'm too good at my job. Yeah. And then I went from that to shooting babies like a week later. So.
But that's the point of it. You should be able. Your portfolio should have everything from babies in those fucking tubs to your friend getting his face knocked the fuck off.
Yeah. I've learned in my photography journey, and then we'll jump into wrestling. I swear to God, portrait and event. That's my thing. That is my shtick. Portrait shots, events, and then for free, I'll dabble with like some modeling. Because I got a funny story that's related to photography, but it's not about like the pictures I took. Your boy here, who's we all know if you've watched our show for any amount of time, I'm happily married. Jessica, love of my life, currently sick, battling breast cancer. She's killing it right now. Sunday,
also awesome host and extremely good cook. I'm not gonna lie, you guys just kept surprising us over and over again. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you fucking kept us fully fed, and it wasn't just like, oh, my friend's wife is cooking. Like, we're like, God damn, can we get some more? Why you cook them little pockets for us, man? Make them damn pouches bigger, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, man. No, it was. Yeah, it's actually I'm in the process of privately making her a cookbook. I've been like yelling at her for like ever to fill out this recipe book. So instead, she ain't gonna fucking do it. So while she ain't paying attention, I'm gonna fill it out.
You can tell it was like the seafood thing, but all the other stuff was just like basic shit. But it was like mother's love.
Oh yeah.
And that fucking food, like it was like I said, I'm not just saying that because it's your wife. She fucking fed us.
No, I know.
Fed us fucking amazingly fed. Me and Adam were literally
I was
across the room at each other like, what the fuck? Like, I know it's good.
I was 180 pounds when me and her met. All right, I was 100 pounds less, bro. Goodness gracious. But no. So Sunday, I went out with a photographer. Just happened to be female. This is something I do on occasions. I go like to a Facebook page, like North Carolina photographers or something, and I say, hey, I'm gonna run around Raleigh. I'm gonna be taking pictures. If other photographers want to join me, we can like share tips and and model for each other. Whatever, we can collaborate while I'm going out. And this usually gets a couple responses, and I've had a couple guys go with me. Well, this evening there was a girl and a guy that were supposed to come, except the guy no-showed. So it was just me and this female, who I will admit is fairly attractive. First thing I noticed, I was like, okay, all right, she looks good. I'll be able to take some good pictures, And it was like about a half hour in to us walking around RN, I realized I think I'm on a date. Because I'm sitting here and I'm talking about like photography and Raleigh. She's never been to this area of Raleigh, and I'm talking about this, and then everything she counters with is how like she's divorced, or she recently broke up with her boyfriend, or she normally has her kid every night, but the kid's dad has the kid for the next 3 nights, and she's gonna be home all by herself. And I was like, yeah. That's nice, but how about this spot over here? There's got good light. And I'm playing fucking stupid over here.
Right.
And then eventually I just like had to call Jessica. I was like, hey Jess, look, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna have a talk with you. You're probably gonna be mad.
Also, a thing you don't realize is you're a big, huge dad bod, and that shit is in, my guy.
Just this fucking big soft belly. I'm a cozy dude. It's winter, man. It's winter.
Yeah.
They need the warmth.
Too, I forgot to tell you, because you took us to Raleigh and stuff and walked around, one of our vendors came in, and I knew some of the spots, and we talked about some of the spots we went to, and I showed him some of the pictures you took while we were there.
Oh, hell yeah, man. But yeah, I came home and I told Jess, I was like, hey babe, I don't know really how to say this, but I think I went on a date with another woman tonight. And
She's a nice lady. I don't know if I'll ever call her again though.
yeah, she gave me some shit for a while, but then she lightened up. She was like, "Yeah, I know you didn't mean to. You're just stupid." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, thank you." So, anyways, enough about me. Jesus, I'm sick of talking to myself. How's everything on your end, man?
Pretty good. We starting to break ground on our house here in the next couple of weeks, so we should be in a home. And like I said, next time you guys are coming to visit and stay with me, you, the boys, and Jess, come to the country out here in Ohio for spring break. Hopefully, we can make that happen.
Hell yeah.
Playoffs are starting. As you said, I got my hat on. You know what I'm saying? I had to show. That's
Yes,
been our
sir.
motto the last couple of years. We the ones. I'm gonna see if you can show my shirt.
Oh, we the ones. Hold on, wait. Let me do the solo layout. Oh crap! Hold on.
What?
Wait
Do it
one
again?
second. Yeah, do it again. There it is. That's what I was trying to do. Bam, we the ones. Yes, sir. All right. You like Jimmy Uso's new shirt? They not the ones.
What'd you say?
You said you seen Jimmy Uso's new shirt?
No, I
This is-
didn't actually see it.
They not the ones. Did you watch? So we've had a couple good wrestling events since we last talked. You know, they had most notably the what was the most recent Bad Blood. Bad
That's
Blood
the
took
last
place.
wrestling. I haven't watched any wrestling this week. That was the last thing I saw.
Okay. Well, you saw that. That's where Jimmy Uso made his return. He was sporting a new shirt. He said, "They not the ones." That was when he pleaded with Roman. It was like, "Hey, look, Cody's getting his ass beat.
Yeah.
Let's go help him. We gave him our word, or you gave him your word." And he was working as Roman's conscience. It was nice.
And like I said, we defend our title on Sunday. We're back to
Hell
back
yeah.
going for the three-peat.
Going for the trifecta, huh? The Triforce.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get that 3P. You guys are gonna smash it. You guys smashed it last season. It wasn't even like competitive, right?
No, and this season it was. We lost more games this year. We've lost 2 games this year. We've lost more games this year than we have the previous 3 years combined.
And that's 2 games.
2 games, yeah. And we lost by a combined 5 points.
Holy cow! What in the world, man? You guys are like the 2000s like New England Patriots, man. Yeah. You guys just.
And the worst part is, it's like the team didn't beat us. We beat ourselves.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Who are y'all playing?
We played this team called Chaminade Julian. They're like one of the biggest like Catholic schools in this area. Like they have all type of people in the NFL and shit. You can play Ohio State, everything. Like we're playing their feeder program. Like I said, they had 2 plays on us for touchdown. We shut them down in the second half almost completely. It was basically just us showing up, being arrogant, thinking we could just show up to anybody and win. And they hit us in the mouth out the gate. And like I said, we only lost by 2 points. It was fucking 14-16.
Oh damn. 1 second. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Come on, there we go. That's what I was going for. Jesus. Okay. Then, my God, I'm trying to like segue us to AEW, and I'm like bombing over here. Like I'm trying to get something set up, and I'm absolutely.
Take your time. It's been a
getting-
while. Take your time.
Yeah. No, the bad part is like even if I was in in practice, it'd still be like this. Let's see. Here we go. How does this look? It looks like shit. Okay. Anyways, WrestleDream is coming up this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah, man, it's this weekend. I know, right? Yeah, it's just this is probably the most like thrown together AEW card, I think to date, which stinks because like I've watched AEW and they have some highlights here and there, and they just secured this big TV deal,
Right.
which makes them the second most profitable wrestling company in history, which it's fantastic. Couple that with the fact the company is only 5 years old, it's really impressive. Although right now I will say it's pretty hot to dunk on AEW. They the creative wise and in a lot of other ways they're kind of lacking. Although they do feel like they're finding their identity. They've adopted this phrase where the best wrestle, which is corny. but it does kind of tell you what you're in for. They're
Right.
heavily revolving
I don't
around
mi-
the in-ring product.
As corny as it is, like I don't mind it because it's like something to stand on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like their, I don't want to say mission statement, but it's at least something that it's kind of like their catchphrase, like where the big boys play type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't mind it. And wrestling is corny, so I don't mind a corny catchphrase that kind of stands them apart from the E.
Yeah, no, and it is fine, and there's little gems here and there. It's just right now, if you watch wrestling, obviously WWE for the most part is killing it. Although they had a pretty weird episode of Raw. It's the first time they went back to 2 hours, like 12 years. But WWE is just like consistently like really good. And then you have other companies like TNA getting some momentum. Which, by the way, I didn't realize this on DirecTV. TNA has its own television network.
Yeah, it does on Amazon Prime too, where they just play like old episodes of TNA and replay the pay-per-views and shit too. I just found that out like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so I had it running at my store the other day.
I guess the thing for me is just like everybody, like when Triple H took over, even AEW fans, everybody was praising him, and now all this other stuff is coming out, like with the Lucha Bros stuff and all that. People reverting back to the criticisms they had when Vince was running, like Vince is still running it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, come on, bro. Like, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. But I get it. That's the tribalism part of it. But it's like, those criticisms are not this. The things that would have happened with Vince in charge are not what will happen now with Triple H in charge.
Well, exactly. There's going to be things that pop up here and there. Most notably, I would say the Saudi belts, Goldberg getting a spot in Bad Blood, looking like he's going to have a match with Gunther, which I know not too many people are eager to see. So there is that aspect of like, oh yeah, this is a company that has to think about its bottom line and also to satisfy a certain audience, because face it, there's gonna be an audience. I popped when I saw Goldberg in the crowd at Bad Blood. I was like, oh shit, there's Goldberg and his kid.
The only reason why I'm not minding either because I don't think Triple H is gonna let him beat Gunther.
No,
I know he's not gonna let him beat Gunther, and that's the difference between what Triple H would do and what Vince would do. And even
have
in
Goldberg
NXT,
out there like fucking stomp like the Fiend when the Fiend was like untouchable.
Right.
And he lost to a suplex. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. But like even when Triple H would bring guys down to NXT, they put over the NXT talent. They didn't come down there and fucking lose a bunch of time. You know what I'm saying? NXT guys weren't fed to the WWE guys. And that's what I think is gonna happen, what should happen, which I don't mind if you use Goldberg like that. And I don't mind if you use it to kind of get his son more involved in it, because like I don't think his son being there was an accident.
No, what's his name? Gage. Gage. Yeah, Gage. He gets TV time, man.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're gonna use that as a way to kind of shoe him into NXT, maybe, or like,
because they did that into a story, right? Like Gage got involved, like got physical in a match, at one point.
I think so, yeah.
Who was it? Somebody like put Gage like in a chokehold or something. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But like I said, as long as Goldberg loses, I don't care. And like I said, I don't see Goldberg beating Gunther for the fucking title anytime soon.
I don't see anybody beating Gunther anytime soon. To be honest,
that's what I'm saying. And to me, that's the difference. Why I don't think you can hold up the same criticisms to Triple H until he gives us that reason. Like I said, I don't care if Goldberg comes back and loses to Gunther at Saudi Arabia. That's what you're supposed to do. You use that nostalgia, but you don't feed them to your fucking your guys that are up now, your current guys, to those old fuckers, what Vince did all the time, and then say they won't reach for the brass ring. Well, if you keep bringing back dudes that are grandparents to come beat your 20-year-old stars, 20 and 30-year-old stars, no, they're not going to be able to grab the brass ring because you're putting those other guys pussy on a pedestal. So like, and I just don't. I know Triple H is not going to do that. So like, that's why like I hate Goldberg. You know I do.
Yeah.
But I know he's definitely not beating Goldberg.
Yeah, I don't mind Goldberg. It's how he gets used is what I think rubs me and a lot of other people the wrong way most of the time. I think if Goldberg was used correctly, like anybody else, if you play to their strengths, then it'd be something. But anyways, I saw on Samsung TV. There's a WWE network that runs 24/7, and it mainly runs the like some biographies, and then also the treasure hunt show that had like Top Dollar as like the host. It's where like a couple wrestlers will run around for a whole episode trying to track down like memorabilia, and Goldberg had to break it to a fan that they were trying to buy his in-ring worn gloves, which were the only memorabilia from the streak from WCW, right. And he had to break it to the fan that they weren't in-ring. He's like, yeah, I cut the knuckles off, so that ain't it. Also, by the way, we offered you WrestleMania tickets and tickets to Undertaker's One Dead Man show. We got to revoke that offer now. But he's like, I got some complimentary chairs I'm gonna give you just because.
Is that the treasure show that
yeah,
what's his name was on?
AJ Francis.
Yeah.
It's a fun show. I like it. Like I think it's a pretty cool take.
And that's why I don't understand why they didn't want to pay that man, because he was a good
he's a great host.
He was wrestling and made that show worth watching. Like I don't understand why they were so offended he wanted to get paid more.
Yeah, he's a great host on that show. I'm not gonna lie. Like he really did. He was good. And yeah. So on top of Goldberg, like telling the guy like, yeah, those gloves that you think, represent the streak. He's like, they're not it. And then they had to lessen. He's like, you see all your replica belts? They're not like real belts, right? And the guy's like, no. He's like, but you still love them, right? He's like, well, yeah. He's like, see, it's the same thing. And then the guy's like, well, I bought you these gloves, Goldberg. And the guy ended up giving Goldberg stuff too. And I was like, oh my God. I loved it, but I felt so bad for that fan.
Right.
But yeah, I lost my train of thought. I ain't gonna lie. Anyways, AEW WrestleDreams this weekend are in. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking over the match card, and only two matches was I. Oh no, 3 matches was I actually aware was going down. But there's some good stuff in here.
Oh, what's up, Thornberry?
What's up, man? What's up, Tim? But the kickoff show, RN, do you know who Atlantis Jr. is?
Yes, he's not that bad of the luchadors that they have on AEW. They're pretty fucking fire, honestly.
Yeah. Let me see here. Atlantis Jr. Oh yeah. I've seen him. He takes on Brian Cage. Brian Cage surprisingly re-signed with AEW. A lot of people expected him to ship off, especially given all the public grief that was given between him and his wife about him being used. I don't know. Maybe he saw WWE and didn't think wasn't too optimistic about that option either. So, but anyways, they meet up for the World TV Championship. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I haven't kept up with a bit of Ring of Honor. To be fair, with AEW, all I've watched is Dynamite, and I didn't even see this week's because I forgot it was Title Tuesday.
Same.
Yeah, and apparently, given all the travel issues that took place because of the hurricanes, the show, I guess, wasn't too notable. I watched a couple recaps on it, and they were like, yeah, it's like NXT they conceded.
Too, but nobody wants to talk about that.
Well, no, that was kind of the narrative. It was like almost like they just conceded to NXT and was like didn't put forth the most effort to try to compete with NXT, which was absolutely stacked. I've yet to see the new CW presentation. I missed both episodes. How is it?
I like it. I mean, it's not too different, but it's different, and it's I don't like the network. I wish it wasn't on CW, but the presentation was good, and it feels like a bigger show than it did on USA. If I'm being honest.
What's wrong with the network?
Because, I mean, CW, man, come on, think about, what do you think about when you think about CW, honestly?
Smallville is kind of...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Heaven. Smallville.
Yeah.
The WB. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro.
Was,
Gilmore Girls, shit like that.
Yeah. What was, the CW, is that what UPN became?
Yeah, that's where SmackDown used to be.
Well, no, I remember UPN. I didn't realize till I became an adult, UPN was advertised as a black network.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Malcolm and Eddie with fucking the Huxtable son and Eddie Griffin had their show. It was like a couple other shows like shows on there. LL Cool J, I forgot what his show was, where he was like a rapper or something. Ended up being like the people's nanny and shit. In the House, I think it was called. Like it was a couple like black shows on there.
Oh, I didn't know. I just remember UPN for SmackDown. Like that was it. Like it was. But yeah, I haven't kept up with Ring of Honor. To be fair, I wouldn't even. This is. I don't even watch the 0 Hour. To be fair, I couldn't tell you who's going to win this. I'm just going to throw a shot in the dark, say Atlantis Jr. But I got no insight on this match, unfortunately.
I kind of do, but not really, because like I said, I don't keep up with this Ring of Honor shit anyway. But the thing I hate about Brian Cage is that they don't let him fly anymore, man. Like he's just strictly like a powerhouse now. When he can really do 450s and fucking moonsaults and all type of crazy shit like these luchadors he's going against can do, and like that was what made him who he was.
Whose call do you think that is? Do you think that's?
I think it's probably a little bit of his as well, because he's not been as injured as much too. But still, at the same time, like, bro, if you're going against the luchadors, break some shit out, man. Like, I'm not saying try and kill yourself and do some fucking 450 to the outside or anything, but at least
you got Nia Jax on SmackDown doing Hurricanranas now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like, give us something. Like, he was originally the Keith Lee before there was Keith Lee. Like, people always forget that part. Like, he was the 250-pound fucking
the big dude that could move around.
Yeah, like I'm talking about, like, for real, like moonsaults, 450, shooting star presses and shit, like all of that, and then also could power bomb two dudes at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Swerve Strickland set to return after, of course, losing the title to Bryan Danielson. We haven't really seen Swerve. We've seen MVP has since debuted on AEW, showing that he has Shelton Benjamin, one third of the Hurt Business. It's been confirmed that Bobby Lashley has signed with AEW, so it's all but confirmed that the Hurt Syndicate will consist of those three members. And then the narrative here is that, of course, MVP is trying to win over other talent. And most notably, I would say Swerve Strickland threatening to criticizing the job of Prince Nana for shucking and jiving, which I hate to say it, man. Without Prince Nana, you don't have Swerve, though.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Prince Nana was the icebreaker to get people like me to warm up to Mr. Swerve Strickland.
I mean, honestly, it was the same thing for Lashley, too, having MVP.
MVP, Leo Rush for a period of time.
Not so much of Leo Rush. I'm talking about more so Bobby Lashley, Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley. And
yeah.
Being able to take him serious and, like, open up to the fact that he could be a main event star. Like I said, it was the same thing. Like,
but if you take away
MVP.
Yeah, exactly. I would think Swerve would not join up because I think, personally, I think it would actually be a mistake to break him away from Prince Nana, because obviously Swerve Strickland is way more than the dance as intro. Right. His character work, his in-ring work, everything about him super captivating. To try to say that his success is based off of a stupid dance would be ridiculous. However, I don't think it'd be the smartest thing to do to take that dance away from the character either.
No, and like I said, why would you put him and Lashley together? Who's the star in that show? Somebody's going to have to take a back seat. Then also, too, why do we need another stable where all the black guys are in one stable?
That is a true statement. This pro wrestling trope to cultures sticking to their own seems, even in 2024, to be alive and very well. Over in WWE, you have the all these Latin factions together. The women, the black female women, Jade and Bianca, always somehow Naomi's always a part of that group whenever they show up on SmackDown.
Yep.
This is just a tried and true trope. What was the last faction where they leaned into race doesn't play a factor? Like we're a tight group regardless of race. I'm trying to think, like, because I'm trying to think of
with Ali and them. What was that shit called? I forgot. What that shitty faction.
Retribution.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. Well, because you had what? Well, you had the Nation and you had Owen Hart in the Nation for a while, right? But I wasn't around to understand what that was about, so
And that was like 30
this would
fucking
be
years
terrible-
ago. We're talking
could be a
about
terrible
recently.
example. Yeah, yeah.
There hasn't been any. Honestly, I mean, maybe I guess you could say the NWO.
NWO, the Dudleys. Dudleys were always has nothing to do with race.
Yeah, but it was always just them two.
It
It's
was
not really
just
an
them
act.
too. Yeah. I'm not sure. Hey, that's fucking terrible though. Like you should have one where it's like where that's part of the message is that we're
Right.
bigger than.
That's why I think the Hurt Syndicate or whatever the fuck, it should go to what originally Lashley and them had planned. Like their idea was to have like a kind of revolving door of up and coming people and women.
Yeah. Well, you already saw MVP trying to win over Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné. I thought that was pretty interesting. There was also one of the members pitched originally for the Hurt Business was Ricochet.
Yeah.
Even though he's black, I'd still like to see him see how because he already cleans up really nice. He's a good looking guy. Throw a nice fucking suit on him, and I'd love to see what develops there too as well. The return segment with Swerve Strickland. Do you think this is used as the debut for Bobby Lashley? Swerve comes out. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna decide I'm not joining you, MVP, and MVP's like, oh damn, that I'm really sorry to hear that, and then Lashley fucking pulverizes him. It's probably what'll.
You know who I want to see? I want to see Private Party with Lashley and them.
Yeah. Private Party. They have a title match, which I don't know. Like, I know you got to pass the ball around a little bit to your teams and everything, but I've never been able to buy into Private Party as a serious threat. Even going all the way back to
When they beat the Bucks.
when they beat the Bucks. And I know that's kind of like what the story is based on here is that they could have the Bucks number, but
You know what would make you take them serious?
what's
If they
that?
put some fucking suits on and we're standing behind Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, you know what I need Isaiah Cassidy to mature a little bit, because he still leans into a lot of like just like the internet humor of children, and I'm just I'm constantly just
And
becoming
again,
like a grizzled like grumpy old man.
Who's somebody that can clear all that shit out? MVP
It'd be
and
fucking
Lashley
MVP. Yeah,
would
they
clean
can
all that shit up.
get that kid shit out the way. Yeah, I'd like to. You know what? I agree. That would be cool. I think, and also it would show an effort for investing in the younger talent, like you just mentioned.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I agree with that. It'd be pretty cool. Darby Allin.
And Ricochet too. Ricochet ain't really doing shit. You could still put him with them.
Yeah. Oh, Jacob, the wrestling fan, says there's a lot of people I would like to see with the Hurt thing. Willie Mack.
Yep.
EJ Induka.
Oh yeah, EJ would be perfect for that.
Educate me on EJ. Who's this fella?
He actually was with NXT back in the day, and then he kind of went off into the independents, and I want to say MLW, but like he would fit perfectly too.
He hasn't been featured on AEW, has he?
No, I think he had maybe a match or two. Maybe like a year ago. Correct me if
This
I'm wrong,
dude-
Jacob.
Holy shit, this dude is fucking jacked. Oh
Yes.
my god. Goodness gracious, this man is jacked to the
Yes, sir.
gills. Oh, hold on one second. Let me pull up a picture of this. This is like a low res photo right here I've got, but it still sets the precedent here. Right there. Boom. Look at this dude. God damn, dude.
Yeah, he's from MLW for sure.
Yeah. He's been wrestling dark matches on Collision. He had a match with Konosuke Takeshita on Dark. Oh, okay. I think he's in Ring of Honor now, though. Can't be sure. Dude looks like a stud.
Yeah.
Just like first impressions, man. The guy looks like he'd be a main eventer. Good God,
Absolutely.
dude. How tall is he? Don't tell me this is like a short motherfucker.
No, he's at least like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah? Good God, man! He's our age, or my age particularly. He's 36. Let's see here. He's build height 6'8".
Yeah.
Good God. 185 pounds.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man! And yeah, great. Yeah, put him in the Hurt business, the Hurt Syndicate. You can do that right away, man. Oh fuck, I'll take it. Yeah. Let me see here. 1 second, RN.
I wouldn't want Willie Mack either because I feel like he's got like a. I don't feel like he ever got to show what he could really do and what he's about either in AEW. He's another one that's a big dude that can fucking do all types of flips and twists and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he's for him to be a fucking chud fat slob like us. The motherfucker can fucking move.
Didn't he have a high profile match not that long ago, and there was like a botch in the match? Unfortunately, I think like someone got dumped on their head.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I do remember watching him. He was on a match in I want to say Dynamite. Willie Mack, AEW. Yeah, let me see here. Oh, he had a match with oh, he's had a couple matches, but he had a match with Eddie Kingston. He was in the Continental Crown, that tournament that was really good.
Oh, shit, that was last year.
Yeah. He's had matches with looks to be Wardlow. He got taken out by Wardlow. He took on Dustin Rhodes. He also took on Samoa Joe at one point too. Yeah, Willie Mack would be cool. We're still just booking all black wrestlers though. We still can't get away from the trope. Even ourselves are, Ren.
I wouldn't mind Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher. Well, he is definitely turning on Will Ospreay at WrestleDream. Yeah, they're breaking that up quick. Well, actually, let's talk about that match really quick.
Who's going there?
AEW International Championship match. Will Ospreay, Ricochet, Konosuke Takeshita, which is already in the runnings. The match hasn't happened yet, and it's already in the runnings for Match of the Year contender. Just given the star power alone, that match is going to be crazy. It's sure to end with shenanigans. I believe Don Callis is going to come out. He's going to encourage Ospreay to cheat, grab the screwdriver. Kyle Fletcher will be there. Kyle Fletcher is going to act as the conscience, and then Swerve, he's going to probably stab the shit out of Will. And I think, in my opinion, I believe this will be Takeshita walking away with the belt. What about you?
Yeah, I mean it's time. And like you said, I think this is where they all turn on Ospreay finally.
Yeah, it's because Ospreay officially on Dynamite declared that he was no longer in the Don Callis family and whatnot, which I thought that was already established, but yeah, he officially broke off, and yeah, Kyle Fletcher I think is just primed because if Kyle Fletcher aligns with Will Ospreay, he's just gonna live in his shadow. That's just the unfortunate thing. He'll never outshine Will Ospreay if they're aligned together. The same way Dominic Mysterio was never going to outshine Rey Mysterio while they were aligned. So you have them turn on each other and you give Kyle Fletcher some high profile wins.
It didn't help too that Kyle Fletcher dyed his hair and shit and pretty much was wearing the same gear as Will Ospreay either.
Yeah, he did just come out looking like a taller version of Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't make sense to me when he did that either. But
yeah, Hangman Page taking on Jay White. Another match where the names to me seem huge, but unfortunately this is the follow-up feud for Hangman Page after his incredible matches with Swerve. Yeah, so I feel like I should be excited for this one. And to be honest, I'm not. But I'm happy to see Jay White return and hoping to see him with the victory. Although having Hangman Page lose a couple big matches, not sure exactly how that would go either. But I'm thinking Jay White's going to walk away with this one.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't really care. I mean, I feel like they botched Jay White's we keep forgetting at a time when he came to them, he was the number one, arguably the number one wrestler in the world, and definitely the number one free agent in a long time. And they brought him in and put him with Billy Gunn's sons.
Yeah, which I like him. I like him as a group now. Here's the thing though. I've tried to watch Jay White. Obviously, I never watched like New Japan enough to really get a full grasp of like the pecking order and the stars while they're in New Japan. But I have seen Jay White on Impact. Like I mentioned, they got Impact running 24/7 on its own dedicated station. And even seeing Jay White on Impact prior to signing with AEW, his presence never felt like too imposing. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I never. I don't know if like I ever felt like he was. He feels like a guy that would hold the TNT or the international championship in AEW, but like I don't really buy him in the top of the card.
And that's their fault for how they brought him in. They didn't bring him in at the top of the card or bring him in like he was the number one free agent signing at the time. Yeah. They brought him in as a mid-carder, like out the gate, and they thought that was the way to do it, and like that was going to change anybody's mind about him. Like, because to be honest, he probably had bigger matches and more of an impact than Will Ospreay did. Will Ospreay is just a bigger star and was just a bigger star more here than anywhere. But Jay White was the head of the Bullet Club. He had crazy ass matches with Naito and all these guys, Okada, all of them. And like I said, like if you didn't watch it, I understand like how you wouldn't see it, but that's also based on how they brought him in. Like how they brought Ospreay in was the way they should have brought Jay White in.
Okay, yeah, you're not wrong there. Given his presentation, Will Ospreay, they rolled out the red card. I mean, they really went all out for Ospreay's presentation.
And not even his presentation so much as they put him in the ring and showed what
he could do,
what made him who he was and why people loved him. The exact opposite of what they did for Jay White, and the exact opposite of what they did with Mercedes Moné, like, and
countless other big names, like big signings. Like
exactly,
you can rattle off 10 huge signings that had lackluster debuts. None worse than Andrade coming out to no music and Vicky Guerrero. Fucking right. Jesus Christ! To this day, that's embarrassing. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that there's room for the Gun Club to be bigger. They obviously they were a joke. They were kind of like you didn't want to see them on TV. Like they were like change the channel kind of heat initially, but now they're pretty entertaining. Like I take Austin Gunn more seriously. I forget his brother's name. Colton Gunn. Yeah, I do like them as a trio, and I think that there's potential there, but it's just, they're obviously starting from a lower point than where Jay White could have started at, had things debuted differently.
Right.
Jacob says, I feel like the problem is with the big signings is they come in back and they start to get booked good, then a few free agents come around and then they move down the card. I mean, no, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. You're the flavor of the month. A lot of the big signings are they simply were used as the flavor of the month instead of a long-term booking, which that's kind of what is stifling AEW at the point is, and has been for a while, is Tony Khan, I think, is realizing how difficult it is for long-term booking, because he's had some good stories here and there. I think I think Hangman Page has been involved in two of the best storylines in all of AEW history. The first being his feud with Kenny Omega, and then his recent feud with Swerve Strickland. Mm-hmm. It's just once they get through with it, it's hard for them to follow up. They don't know what they're doing, right. Or at least that's just kind of like what it feels like. Is it just hits a wall, and with the new signings, the it's even more short-sighted. They just rely on the hype of them being signed, but there really hasn't been a signing that got introduced into a too large of a story right out the gate that at least comes to mind off the top of my head. Maybe you can think of one, RN. And I just realized RN is like blowing his nose. While you do that, RN. Dragon Lee was hyped up, and now he's in the LWO, losing most of the matches. Yep, Deonna Purrazzo, who is great, not one of the most important people in the division. Yeah, Deonna Purrazzo, that's a more recent one that stings, because her feud with Toni Storm, they could have easily pulled the trigger on Deonna Purrazzo, and she would have been a made star as well. I mean, I get why they had Toni go over, because Toni obviously is great herself, but Deonna Purrazzo is a perfect example of somebody that it wouldn't be difficult or too difficult to make them a star and give them momentum, but the short-sightedness of nature of your booking stifles it. She has a really hot, quick feud with Toni Storm, then she loses, and then like nothing happens. She disappears. She ain't even the first one. Like there's several women that have fallen into that trope. The Professor, Serena Deeb, always comes to mind. Deeb has been hot several times in her tenure with AEW, but they don't pull the trigger because they're already too invested in something else, and then Deeb just kind of like...
Yeah, but the Deonna Purrazzo stuff too, it pissed me off. Is like she was the cornerstone of the best women's division the past like 3 or 4 years. Like,
yeah, I watched her match in one of the only times I went out of my way to tune into Impact. Right. Was her match with Mickie James, and they killed it. My God, was it a good match? Although I think Mickie won that match, but still, nonetheless,
she was on her way out. You know, what I'm saying? Like, but that's my thing with her. It wasn't like she was just like a free agent woman signing. Like she was the women's wrestler for the past like few years. Because at a point, people forget TNA had the best women's division of all the sports. I mean, that was like a thing. Like they had the best women's division. She was the cornerstone of it and the champ of it for a majority of that time. And then they, like you said, they brought her in, quick little feud with Toni, and then haven't seen her.
Yeah, Jake also brings up Athena, former Ember Moon, although she's Ring of Honor champion. Yeah, I will say, whenever I hear somebody speak positively about Ring of Honor, more often than not, it's Athena's name. Like anytime I hear Ring of Honor brought up, it's always like Athena is the highlight of the company. Ruby Soho, yeah, oh my God, I forgot she was even employed. And then Ty Conti. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ty could have been huge as well. Her and perpetually the most unlucky wrestler in AEW, Sammy Guevara, recently had their kid. Fucking Sammy can't catch a break, dude. Unfortunately, man, he can't catch a break. Let's move on. The tag team match you brought up earlier, Young Bucks Private Party tag titles. I feel like this is the biggest lock of the night, RN. Looking at it, I feel like if there was any sure bets, it's the Young Bucks are retaining this. I can't even think right now off the top of my head any way to make this match even interesting. Other than if somehow your fantasy booking plays out on the evening and they somehow sign with the Hurt Syndicate like afterwards or something. I don't know. But yeah, this one I don't fucking know. Like the Private Party lost. They lost to the Young Bucks, and they're still going in fighting them for the titles. And I feel like AEW's lost the point with these tag division, man, and it hurts because it's supposed to have the mission statement of when this company was formed was the tag division was going to be the premier division in AEW. They were saying it was going to outshine the world champion. And even though we know that was like PR speak and everything, because the world champion's always the face, at least you're like, God damn, these guys are still invested in getting us excited for these tag team matches. And 5 years later, it is languishing. Like it is, I can't think of a single tag team I get excited that is like must see anymore, because either the lack of the depth of field, or really it's just the lack of direction in the division. When you have Private Party and the Young Bucks with no story going in other than Private Party beat the Bucks 5 years ago, what are we doing already?
No, it's like you said, I can't even think of any tag teams. I can think of a fucking 45 trios teams and shit, but like I can't think of like another tag team.
It's because they're all in trios. If
Yeah,
if you
that
if you're worth a damn in the tag division, they're like, oh, Bucks have the titles. Well, fuck that. We're gonna go do trios because
Right.
the Bucks are just gonna do the Bucks storyline. Which I'm not a Young Bucks hater in the sense that I think they're like a terrible tag team, but it just seems like whenever the Bucks are at the top of the card, there's nothing interesting happening with those fucking belts, man.
no.
Yeah, it's so weird. I've never seen, and you know what's crazy is like the Bucks were supposed to be who we got excited for. It feels like the most yeah, which is weird because you and I both universally love the EVP characters that they've leaned into. I think it's kind of they've kind of gotten away from it a little bit, but you know we did like the self-aware, power hungry, and power abusive Bucks running wild with the production trucks and everything. Like I thought it was really clever and fun. But when it comes down to the in-ring like competition, and we have belts and we're defending these titles, and these young up-and-comers we're fighting them off and shit, or we're holding tag teams down, storyline wise, like none of that heat is there. It feels the most void of hype, it maybe ever in AEW.
Yeah, because like you said, there's no tag teams. There's fuck ton of trios, but there's literally no tag teams.
Yeah. Jake says AEW tag division from 2019 to 2022 was so stacked. The teams are still great, but the booking isn't. Exactly. I mean, that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's it.
We run through the roster page and we look at these tag teams. We're like, oh yeah, these are like some of the most talented tag teams on the planet right now. But they ain't being used. They ain't being used at all. And it's a damn shame, man. It's a damn shame because that's one of AEW's, like I said, it's part of their original mission statement.
Yep.
Was our tag division will be must see. That will be one of the cornerstones of why you tune in to our show. Will be to watch tag team wrestling. You know, assuming that you're into the looser style with the rules and everything, and you're into the more acrobatic theatrics, which I like. I was like, hey, look, I like AEW style of tag team wrestling. I don't mind, you know, the rules getting played very loose to sometimes like just completely no rules at all. But I allowed myself to be entertained by it, and it's a damn shame that it ain't there anymore. TNT Championship match. Also, speaking of somebody who's the void of any hype, RN. Let's get into Jack Perry and Katsuyori Shibata. Dude, I want to like Jack Perry. I want to sit here and tell you that Jack Perry's character is great. That he has grown as a wrestler because everything we see on TV is telling us that's what's happened. But what I feel, once again, he grew a beard and he drives around in a
Bucks shut his shit down, man.
yeah.
His growth and everything without them when he was in New Japan and all those other places, like you could see it. As soon as he got under the Bucks, it just like it dimmed his light. Like, and that's just to me, that's just what it is.
I think what it is also is the genesis of his character.
Right.
He, you know, he never came out, and I get why, but he never came out. Like his character could be cleared up so well. He essentially was defending AEW. You know, when he got in a backstage altercation with CM Punk. CM Punk, WWE guy, coming in, writing the rules, taking over AEW, turning it into the CM Punk playground. You can spin all that narrative, and Jack Perry was there waving the AEW flag when he stood up to Punk, and in his mind, he's the savior. He's the guy who stood up for the company, you know. And in his mind, he's right. The problem is CM Punk was fired and is in WWE, so you can't really acknowledge that that's why he's a scapegoat. He's the scapegoat. Why is he the scapegoat? Well, we can't fucking talk about it because it's
not here.
Yeah, the guy's not fucking here. So it instantly makes the character feel a little bit hollow. And then once again, like it's just it sucks. He's kind of like here's a hot take. He's not as terrible as Daniel Garcia, because I think Daniel Garcia is trash, and I was really bummed out to see he stayed with AEW, because now I got to see more Garcia on my fucking TV, and I think Garcia just sucks all the goddamn energy out of the room when you put a mic in that dude's mouth or face.
A year or two ago, and I said it's just a fucking dance. As soon as there's no more dance, he has nothing. He's so fucking bland and boring, bro. Like, even his gear is even fucking boring. Like, all he's got is a dance. As soon as he stops grinding, there's nothing left to him.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say Jack Perry has more depth to his character than Daniel Garcia. I will say that. However, there's like 100 other people I'd rather see with that TNT championship. Remember, the TNT championship is supposed to be a prestigious title in AEW. It's held by the likes of Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee and Darby Allin and Miro. And right now, although it's got a pretty cool paint job that Jack Perry gave it, it does nothing for me watching him with the belt. I hope Shibata gets his hands on that title, and then Shibata gets a nice like big push, and he's like the center focus of AEW television for a little while, given the tragic nature of like his premature retirement back, I think, what was it, like 2017, 2019? Got that head injury. And yeah, I'd love to see him with the belt, even if all of his promos are cut by Google Translate. It's still a little bit better, I think, than Jack Perry.
Right.
With that being said, I think Jack Perry's going to retain. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm over Shibata too. Like, the fucking Google translation shit and all that. Like, it's all fucking corny for me. And his time has passed. I hate to say it. Like, I don't want to see him with the title either. So.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing him with the title. Like, you know, in a perfect world where he's booked consistently and well and gets a great feud. You know, granted, even if we give him the belt, there's no guarantee that's going to happen.
Right.
But yeah, but isn't that like a pro wrestling thing, RN, though? Is they get like a response, a positive response to like a joke or something, and then so they just run it into the ground.
Yeah, that's definitely an AEW thing for sure.
Yeah, Jack Perry's definitely retaining. All right, man. My most anticipated match. I don't know how this has happened, but I am seriously excited to see Mark Briscoe and Chris Jericho. Even if it's cheap heat, even if Chris Jericho is a Wish.com version of Christian when Christian was talking about dead fathers, and so Jericho's bringing up Mark Briscoe's late brother, Jay Briscoe. I love what it's done to Mark, though. I love that it brought a serious edge out of him. I love that he dropped the over-the-top theatrics in that one promo. And he like jacked Chris Jericho in the jaw, and he said the word of the week is consequences. I fucking loved all of that, and I'm hoping that it translates to a nice, heated, serious match for Briscoe. And I'm giving Briscoe the win. Chris Jericho, he tends to lay down fairly evenly. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he wins too many. I don't think he loses too many. I think this is one where he gives Mark Briscoe his time to shine, man. You got to too, man. You're bringing up the man's dead brother. You can't go out there and whoop his ass afterwards too. It'd be fucking terrible.
I can honestly care less about this match.
For real?
I've been checked out on Chris Jericho and Mark Briscoe too, honestly. Like, just call a spade a spade. He only got this hype and this push because of his brother passing and stuff. And, like, I know he's the flag bearer for Ring of Honor, but, like, I don't know what the fuck Ring of Honor is or give a fuck about it, honestly. So it's, like, it's hard for me to get behind that. And, like I said, this would have been a dope-ass match 10 years ago. Like, I don't know if I want to see this match now in 2024.
I would like to see a Mark Briscoe wear his vulnerability and pain on his sleeve. I would like to see him constantly trying to step out of his brother's shadow, to address it head on. And I believe that is loosely what Jericho is doing, what he's trying to do,
Right.
is to address that and let Mark Briscoe kind of stand on his own. And I think that there's a good story to tell. Once again, though, do we trust AEW to tell that story? Chances are probably no.
Nope.
But I'm going to give it Mark Briscoe the win. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. The what might be the co-main event of the night? The AEW Women's World Championship match: Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. If it wasn't for the fact that I felt the Young Bucks are the most obvious win of the evening, if they weren't having this match, I feel like this would be the most obvious match of the evening. I do not see any chance Mariah dropping the belt. It does feel like the company's got some momentum with her. She is one of the emerging new stars that the company has made. Mariah is a lot of fun to watch. Willow, they've never fully got it with Willow. They always feel like they're like a step or two off from Willow being a true, really big star. And I don't see anything different here. I believe Mariah is going to win this match.
Black people, man.
Yeah,
I don't know how to put black people. That's just what it is. Like, and her energy is weird too because
she's got like that Bailey NXT vibe going.
Exactly.
To it. You know what I mean? She's like a huggable person.
They should have let her beat Mercedes, honestly.
Yep.
Especially after what they had going on. Like, this is the thing they always do, though. They never pull the trigger when they should. So, like,
yeah.
I never took her serious as a threat for this title. Like, it's definitely Mariah May. Your blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Hitler's Choice women's champ.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she's going to win this one hands down. And then lastly, the World Championship match, Bryan Danielson, who Jon Moxley vows to take out back and put down in his home state of Washington. Of course, yeah, defending against Jon Moxley. Bryan Danielson's verbiage around the losing of his title has been pretty weird as well. I felt like when it started out, he was insinuating that when he loses the belt, he's retiring. Right. I think he's since gone back on that and has said that when he loses the belt, that will end his full-time schedule. So his full-time schedule comes to an end once he loses the belt, and then he's, a more traditional part-timer. They'll break him out for big events. With that being said, that now, I believe, though, does play better into the matches because it feels a little bit easier to predict when it's a man's legitimate career on the line than like he's going to disappear for a while when he loses. I think that does make it a little bit harder to call. This one's hard for me. Because I'm like 55-45. It's really like a coin toss to me. But I'm going to be a little risky on this one, RN, and I'm going to go with Jon Moxley.
I'm going with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I just don't see it being over. Especially like on a random fucking October pay-per-view. Like, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
And this is something you could draw out. You know what I'm saying? Because of their history and everything, the BCC or whatever the fuck it was and all that. Like, you could draw this out.
Well, Logan James brings up a great point. And he says a lot of people don't believe in Shane McMahon showing up at WrestleDream. He's believing in Shane McMahon. I am believing in Shane McMahon too, actually. I firmly am. However, I'm going to steal an idea from Cultaholic recently. I watched their 9 booking decisions or 9 booking ideas or whatever for WrestleDream, and one of them brought up a really cool idea that Jon Moxley would lose, Shane McMahon would come out and essentially say that he hired Jon Moxley to perform a job. Jon Moxley failed, and then Shane's new stable of, I think they had Will Hobbs and I want to say like Wardlow would be Shane McMahon's heavies, and they would come out and they would destroy Jon Moxley, probably Bryan Danielson. And the night would end with Shane O'Mac closing out AEW pay-per-view, which surely, I don't care who you are, is absolutely mind-boggling. A McMahon appearing in any other wrestling promotion that is not owned by WWE. And I think it's going to happen. What about you? You're muted, by the way.
I could give a fuck less, honestly. Like, I don't
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Come on, man. It's exciting. That is exciting,
no,
all right.
I mean, it would be, but like, what is it really doing? Like, what does Shane really do?
That is buzz, man. That is.
That's all AEW ever gives us is buzz. They never really give us any substance with the buzz. And Shane's not wrestling. Like, Shane's not doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does he really do that's going to push anything or push any of their stars?
You mean to tell me that the creator of Raw Underground isn't going to produce numbers in AEW Dynamite?
That's not what I'm saying. Yes, it is. But then when he's gone, what does he leave behind that makes the product better?
Well, one would argue that if he is there to build up like a stable, that hopefully whoever is working for Shane will be a bigger star than when before they were working with Shane. In a perfect world, that's what would happen.
And
but you would.
If a bullfrog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass when he jumped, bro. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be a fucking 1 or 2 month thing, and then they're gonna be like, they'll capitalize. They never capitalize on the buzz, and then before you know it, it's gonna be like he's gonna be like, well, shit, fuck, what happened to Shane? Like,
oh, he's on Ring of Honor now.
Exactly. Or he's on Dark. You know
He's
what I'm
on
saying?
Dark. He's on. Yeah, they brought back AEW Dark, man. He's on YouTube.
I don't like. I get it. And I understand. And yes, it's a power play. It's a power move. But at the end of the day, what the fuck does it leave you?
Yeah, well, I'm forever the optimist. Although I will say this, I in recent days I have been a little bit more critical of AEW than I used to be, and I used to be back in like 2019 and 2020. But I think, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for big moments. If Shane O'Mac comes out with who's their music producer? Who's the guy that does AEW music? What's his name? Oh man, who's Mikey Ruckus? If we get a Mikey Ruckus remix of "Here Comes the Money" in AEW, I'm gonna pop big time. I hope the same way we spoke about Bobby Lashley or MVP is that there's some underutilized talent that is associated with Shane McMahon, and they come out the star. Maybe like they outshine Shane and they turn on him in the end, and they become like the biggest babyface for beating up a McMahon. That is in a perfect world, because we're not tuning in to watch Shane McMahon, the new wrestler. Right. Like, he's going to come in and go toe-to-toe with John Moxley and shit, or Bryan Danielson. Although it is going to be funny to have the two former general managers of SmackDown, co-GMs of SmackDown, on the same show again. That'll be a fun thing for them to lean into.
Right.
But yeah, in a perfect world. And besides, for a lackluster pay-per-view, you need that big moment to make it memorable. And if Swerve Strickland is coming out in the beginning or the middle of the show, obviously MVP's Hurt Syndicate debut is not going to be the lasting memory that the pay-per-view is going to leave on you. And this would be Shane's, and it'll give us something to talk about. So, and we'll see. Overall, I think the consensus on the event RN is still the same as we always say. The show, from a booking standpoint, is from mediocre to absolute dog shit. However, while watching the matches, it's a fair assumption that they're going to deliver. We're gonna have really cool matches there. So
yeah, we're gonna get some good matches, but like I said, it'll be a BC pay-per-view, something like that.
Yeah, but it'll be a fun time. All right, man, that's gonna do it for the AEW. RN, how's sobriety treating you? Man, you just hit 2 years.
Yeah, pretty good. Staying strong. Like I said, I don't think I'll ever drink again, so I'm happy about it. Like I said, 2 years is a big deal, so. Still going strong.
I'm proud of you. Yeah, that was end of September, made 2 years for you. Yours truly. I'm rolling up on 1,000 days.
Yeah,
I'm rolling up on here in a little under 3 weeks. I'm gonna try to create like a custom like photo gallery to signify, because I'm weird like that. I like sentimental shit. I'll go. Yeah, I don't know. I'll go take a picture of like a beer bottle getting smashed by a baseball bat or something. You know, I don't know. But yeah, for anybody that like is just meeting us for the first time, for one, thank you for tuning in and listening to us ramble terribly about a wrestling program, that there are people who are far bigger fans and far more educated and devoted to pro wrestling, but you guys listen to us go off, and I appreciate that. But one of the other things that we try to say is that struggles are felt regardless of like, you know, we can tune into YouTube and Netflix to try to get away from our problems, but sometimes we have problems that we're dealing with. RN and myself both struggled with addiction, heavy alcoholism. RN you struggle with grief heavily as well. We just want you guys to know that if you're struggling too, you're not alone. And what's helped us is this, you, me, talking about our problems. You know, even if we don't spend the whole time shining a magnifying glass on it and dissecting our issues for hours on end, just being able to say like, hey man, I had a rough day, but I'm still kicking with it, and I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and we're doing this together, and that's always helped in my situation.
Same, like I said, well, you're not alone. We're here. Messages, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You're not alone, and that's the hardest part for people to understand, is that you're not alone.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's easy. It's easy to feel like that. You stare at screens all day of everybody's lives that look so amazing, and nobody seems to on social media and on video platforms like they have any real world problems. When truth be told, we're all human beings here, and we all carry our struggles with us. Right. You know, maybe our struggles aren't the exact same as each other, but we're all going through stuff. And if you need help, get help. Say something, man. Don't suffer in silence. It just leads to a lot of shit, a lot of bad times. That's our soapbox segment. Thank you all for that. Yep. RN, when are you gonna let me get one of those Frenchies, man? When are you gonna get me like a? When you gonna hook me up with like a retiring Frenchie? Because you know I can't afford you, but
We'll talk about it.
All right. If you guys are in the North Carolina area and you're looking for a photographer, yours truly offers photographer services through North Carolina. I do event and portrait photography. You can find my work on my Facebook page. Just look for my name, Kyle Tyson. Also, I'm on Instagram at The Kai Tai Show. You can catch links to my website from there if you ever need a photographer. I'm just going to start advertising right here for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course, RN, you've got Route 4 Kennels, man.
Yeah, Route 4 Kennels, if you need a puppy. We got some bully puppies on the ground. Got a couple Frenchie litters almost here. And then also don't forget to check out Mean Jelly Bean Productions on YouTube. Check us out.
Which I saw that you guys re-released Sandwiches and HJs on YouTube. Is this something that you both knew about, or did Adam just do this without you knowing?
No, he just does it without me knowing. I had no idea.
Yeah, he re-released the just the track. It's just the audio. It's just a graphic of a cassette playing while the audio plays. I believe that because of the age of that song and the fact that it went so unnoticed, it is a crime not to take another stab at it. I am right now posing that you guys re-record like Taylor Swift and all these other bands now that are re-recording their old hits to re-release them, and they could have control. I say you guys do the same thing. I say you and Adam team back up, re-record Sandwiches and HJs, and re-release it. I think the world is ready for that song now already. And we just need a fresh coat of paint on it, man.
The one that everyone remembers and recognizes us from. So yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, I say you re-release it, re-record, re-release. Scrub the other one from existence. It never came out. Oh man, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us this week, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. RN and I are gonna start talking behind the scenes more, how to make this show a little bit more consistent. Yeah. We've been kind of on life support. We're not going anywhere. I don't have any intentions of quitting RN. I hope that you don't. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Yeah. Yeah, so we're human beings, man. We're getting our lives behind the scenes, some stuff taken care of, but we're gonna be talking about getting the show a little bit more consistent and maybe throwing a fresh coat of paint on this too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I brought up a little bit more photography this time, and maybe we'll talk about some other topics that we'll bring up. If there's anything else that you guys like to talk about, let us know in the comments. But yeah, it's gonna do it, man. It's gonna do it. We'll catch you all sometime soon. Hopefully within the next week, we'll be back here. Until then, y'all have a good one.
See y'all next week.